Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's info session. We have quite a few people here today, which is great. Um, I am going to turn my video off today so you guys can see our ASL interpreter. This info session is being recorded and will be available online after this is up, or well, not right away, but pretty soon. Either way, I'm going to turn my video off and get on with the show. We might have some people joining as we get going here, but try and get things going pretty quickly, and hopefully we'll get through this pretty fast. I have lots of time at the end for questions. Okay, so welcome everybody. As you, I guess, will all know, this is the Center City Banners Program info session. Today, we are going to go over the program guidelines in general, how to apply online, and our whole online application platform, and all of the application requirements. So, what we're looking for from you guys in this application. My name is Alex Lingnow. I am the project lead for this program. I'll be the person who answers your emails. I'm always open to answering any questions you guys have about this program, and I'll be facilitating the assessment process as well for this program. So, before we get into too much today, we do want to start with our land acknowledgement. Working in public art, everything that we create, everything that we do ends up living on this land. So we do want to acknowledge that this land is the ancestral territory of the Siksika people, the Blackfoot people, comprising the Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani First Nations, as well as our Treaty 7 signatories, the Tsuut'ina Nation, and the I'ara, Nakota, Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney First Nations. This land is also home to the Otipemisiwak Métis Government Districts 5 and 6, as well as many First Nations and Inuit from across Turtle Island. There has been art, music, dance, storytelling, and ceremony on this land since time immemorial, and it's in the spirit of this land and its people that we do our work. So, for your reference, I'm just putting up my contact information and also the contact information for our coordinator. Again, I'm available at any time to answer questions. Helen is available to help answer some technical questions, mostly to do with the online application platform. If you guys need any help, please reach out as soon as possible. The more time we have, the more time we'll have to actually get back to you and give you the help that you need. I'm going to talk a little bit about Calgary Arts Development. As you guys know, we are Calgary's designated Arts Development Authority. We allocate municipal funding to the arts provided by the City of Calgary and leverage these funds to provide additional resources to the arts sector. Our programs support hundreds of arts organizations, individual artists, and artist collectives in Calgary. And our vision is a connected, creative Calgary through the arts where everyone is empowered to live a creative life. So, if you want some more information about our program, you can follow these links. You can take a screenshot of this QR code, and you'll be able to find out about all of the upcoming public art opportunities as well. What do we do? So, Calgary Arts Development's specific role in public art is to commission new artworks through open competition, like the Center City Banner program. We also do some programming, so youth programs, artist development, temporary exhibitions, artist residencies, and we're also building public art awareness by activating the collection. We still partner with the City of Calgary. They are responsible for the conservation of our collection, and they also do some activation programs as well. Calgary Arts Development is committed to working with communities that have historically been underserved. We are guided by the core principles of equity, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility. We are committed to the process of eliminating institutional racism, ableism, and barriers in our programs, policies, and practices by centering the creativity and leadership of those communities most impacted by structural inequities. Our commitment outlines a vision for a city where Calgarians of all backgrounds can access, create, and participate in the arts as part of their everyday lives. The 4 pillars of this vision are equity, creating equitable access for Calgarians who have had less opportunity for philanthropic and governmental support due to systemic barriers. Diversity, supporting artistic endeavors that reflect our diverse community and in supporting the work of artists of diverse backgrounds. Inclusion, engaging a wide variety of voices and perspectives in shaping and furthering the work that we do. And accessibility, so eliminating those systemic barriers that prevent people who encounter physical, mental, or cultural barriers to spaces, programs, and services from participating in the arts. We also want to honor lived experience and the intersectional and unique experiences of different people and communities by following a nothing about us without us policy. If you are creating work about a specific community, that community needs to be actively engaged and consulted, and there needs to be a clear and intentional relationship. Aligning with our commitment to equity, we strive to work with applicants in a one-size-fits-one way. So reach out if you have any concerns about how you may be able to fit into this program or apply to any of our programs. There are some things, of course, that we will not tolerate, such as hate speech, cultural appropriation, and active exclusionary behaviors. So please be aware whenever you're applying to our programs or working with us that we will not move forward with anything that involves these limitations. And we do have accessibility support through all of our programs. We're committed to open, fair, and transparent processes, and we understand that our programs and processes create barriers to access for many artists who want to apply. In recognition of these barriers, our applicant support and accessibility policy is available for those who may need support from program staff or financial assistance to access support from someone outside of Calgary Arts Development. If you need help or have any questions, please contact our community liaison by email at info@calgaryartsdevelopment.com. Also have the phone number up on the screen here for you. And they'll be able to provide more information about other community resources for any type of artist looking to apply to our programs. Okay, getting into our program, Center City Banners. Wanted to do a quick run through of our timeline. So applications are open. They officially opened on January 6th, and they will officially close on February 19th at 4:30 p.m. local time. Our evaluations will run from the end of February to mid-April, and we're going to notify the selected artists as well as any unsuccessful artists in late April. We are selecting 3 artists with this program who will each be given a 1-year contract and have their artwork displayed for 1 year. The first installation will happen in May 2026, and that artist will be contracted in May of this year. The second artist's installation will be in 2027, and they will be contracted in May of 2026. And the third artist's installation will begin in May 2028, and their contract will begin in May 2027. So 1 year for each artist for their contract and for their installation period. This program is open to any artist in Calgary or the Treaty 7 area at any stage of their career. We do encourage artist submissions from artists that are typically underrepresented or experience barriers to arts opportunities. We really recommend that artists live in and around Calgary or Treaty 7 somewhere where they can easily get into the city, as an in-person meeting will be required with this project. And experience working with commissions, project teams, and managing similar size budgets and projects is an asset, but it is not a requirement for this program. Program overview. So for over a decade, the Center City Banner Program has engaged local artists to create original artwork for banners displayed on poles on 5 bridges leading into the downtown core. Our artists are asked to create works that consider the different characteristics of our city and celebrate our diverse cultures, communities, and histories. Again, 3 artists will be selected, and each will create 6 original banner artworks. And each artist banners will be displayed for 1 year with installations in May of 2026, 2027, and 2028. Calgary Arts Development manages the commissioning of the artists, so that's the call to artists and the assessment process, and the development of print-ready artworks. We partner with the City of Calgary Downtown Strategy team, and they are in charge of production, printing, and installation of the banners. The program objectives are to create some open-air galleries, acting as gateways to Calgary's downtown and cultural districts, enhance our streetscapes, and provide a vibrant and colorful placemaking statement for our community members, celebrate Calgary's culture, communities, histories, and diversity. We want to create opportunities for artists at all levels to share their artworks. And we want to provide pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers with an engaging visual arts experience. And just listed here are the 5 locations where we have the banners displayed. So Momada or 14th Street Bridge, Louise or 10th Street Bridge, our Center Street Bridge, Reconciliation Bridge, and McDonald Bridge. Here we go. Okay, project scope. So this is a lot of important information for everyone who is applying. This will go over everything that we are asking you guys to do for this project. First up, the artist fee is $8,000. So that is for the creation of 6 additional or original artworks that also will include all of the costs associated with design, engagement, and promotion. You are expected to work very closely with the project team, which includes the Calgary Arts Development public arts staff and project lead, as well as staff from the City of Calgary and the city's pre-qualified printer. Artworks will be subject to approval at various stages throughout development by Calgary Arts Development and the City of Calgary. And the artist will meet in person with the project lead to review and provide comments on color samples and printing proofs for quality control purposes, and they will be responsible to develop and supply an installation layout plan for each installation site. The artist will have to provide us with an artist bio and artwork statement that will be used to promote their work. So that will go up on our website and through any promotions that we do through newspaper articles, social media, anything to get the word out about the project. The artist fee does not include costs for printing, installation, or maintenance of the banners. All of those tasks are managed and funded by the City of Calgary. So the artwork is not responsible for that part of this project. The artwork must be original to the artist and created for the purpose of this call. No reusing any previously created works. Technical considerations. This is a digital art project, and we'll be working really closely with our printers to make sure that the final artworks will look as good as possible when they're installed. To do that, the artist will be provided with comprehensive design templates for the banners and all of the printing specifications. The banners are 32 inches wide, but their length varies from 72 inches to 77 inches. So the artwork needs to accommodate about 5 inches of cropping on the shorter banners. Those areas are usually just left without any text or without any important details or elements of the artwork. The final artwork must be delivered as native vector files or 300 dpi raster images in EPS, Adobe Illustrator files, or PDF files. We do require bright and bold colors for this project. The main reason is that they fade less, but they also tend to look better over time once they're displayed for a year, and they really show up a lot better on days where we don't have a ton of sunshine in the city. Overly pale, white, gray, or sky blue colors that can blend into the background are highly discouraged. And contrasting colors and elements can really ensure greater visibility for, again, all of the people who will be viewing this artwork from their cars, from bicycles, walking along pathways. And artwork design should contain appropriate level of detail and scale for viewing by pedestrians, motorists, and cyclists from a distance. So we want to look at how an image that is designed in a small format, once it's blown up, will still have a lot of detail and it will look appropriate at that scale. Again, for this application, we are not asking that anyone create artwork for their submission. All of that will be done afterwards, but we will be looking for examples or experience doing work that covers some of these types of tasks. So, and when we do that, that will be through our selection process. So this program, artists will be selected through an assessment committee, which is an independent committee made up of artists, art professionals, community representatives, and some subject matter experts. These people are chosen through public nomination and staff expertise. For this program in particular, we also work with our team members at Downtown Strategy with the City of Calgary to put together that assessment list. We really do try to represent a broad diversity of Calgary and our artistic communities, and we commit to open, generous, and respectful evaluations. If you're interested, anyone can apply to be an assessor for public art programs through our website, and I'll have a link for that up at the end. The evaluation process will happen throughout February and April this year. That's when the assessment committee will read and score all applications that are submitted. The scoring is based on how submissions respond to application criteria questions for a possible total of 100 points. I'm going to go through this in a little bit more detail later on, but we have 4 categories for this program. Your CV or curriculum vitae, which will be out of 15 points, an artist statement also out of 15 points, letter of interest out of 40 points, and a portfolio out of 30 points. After scoring, the selection committee will discuss each application and make final funding decisions in a meeting facilitated by the public art staff. Decisions of the selection panel are final, and the panel reserves the right to select no applications. I doubt that will happen with this program, but I have to let you know. So the online application, again, these are our 4 submission requirements, and I'm going to go through each of them with a little bit more detail. Again, all of this information is in the guidelines, which I highly encourage everyone to read through and also refer to when they're doing their application. We are asking specific questions for each category. So curriculum vitae, we are looking for your history of any arts education, exhibition, or work experience, anything that's really relevant to, again, the project scope, the technical considerations, and what we're looking for in an artist for this project. Any experience in public art, visual art, or design is also great to show. In your artist statement, we do want a description of your current artistic practice and themes in your work. Let us know a little bit more about you and what you're interested in. The letter of interest is the most highly weighted portion of this application, so it's scored out of 40 points. This is where we'd like you to explain your interest in this opportunity in specific and your connection to Calgary Mohkinstsis. We want you to explain your approach to developing artworks for commissions with specific visual and technical requirements. And we want you to let us know how this opportunity will help support your practice. In your portfolio, this is worth 30 points out of the 100 possible points. We're looking for a minimum of 5 and up to 10 images of existing artworks. You'll be able to include the title, date, size, materials, and a brief description for each image. And we are looking for works that demonstrate an artistic practice that translates well to this medium and demonstrates an artistic skills and approaches needed to deliver a compelling design for this project. We're also looking for a demonstration of technical skills required to deliver this project, specifically working in digital mediums. If you have that experience, it's great to throw that into your portfolio. So our online application, I am going to switch over to the website and run through the entire application with everybody. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat now. I won't be answering them until the end of the presentation, but if anything comes up through this, please just pop them right in there. Okay, and let me just switch screens. 2 seconds. Pop back on. Here we go. Sorry, right screen. So when you guys go to the CADA website, again, I showed in the last image, our main page, on the left-hand side, there is a button for apply for grants, artist calls, and funding. When you click that, you'll be sent to another page where you can access our grant platform, which will bring you to this screen. If you haven't already registered for an account, just click the register button at the bottom here. From there, you'll just want to register either as an artist or artist collective. And then once you do that, you will be set up with a password and you will be able to log in on this page. So I'm going to start from this point. Once you log in, you will be shown your home screen here. Up in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a little circle with an initial in it. This is where you will find your profile. And I'm going to start here, even though this seems a bit backwards, but there's stuff in here that will go directly into your application. So we'll click on the profile tab. Once you're going in here, I have already started this in the past, so I am going to select update profile at the very bottom of the page. If you haven't done this before, you won't see the update profile button, and all of these fields will be fillable. From here, you can fill out all of the general detail fields, anything else that's included here, years of practice, artistic disciplines. If you're interested in being considered as an assessor, you can put that in there. This is also where you're going to want to upload your resume. So this is a drag and drop box on the application, or you can browse through your computer files and just upload your CV or artist resume here. If you are uploading multiple versions, please delete older versions. You can do that just by selecting the items you already have and clicking on the side here and just deleting that item. If you have multiple versions of your CV in your profile, the assessors will be able to see all of those and they won't know which one is appropriate for this application. So make sure this is up to date every time you're doing a new application. At the bottom of the page, we have the artistic practice statement. So this is the artist statement that you will be evaluated on. So again, this will be worth the 15 points. This will be imported directly over into your submission. So you want to make sure that this is up to date and has as much information as you would like in there. At the very bottom of this page, there's a spot for any links that you can include. This is not visible to any of the assessors. This is not part of the application. but you can put them in if you want us to be able to find more about you. Once you're happy with your CV and your artist practice statement, click the Submit Profile button at the bottom of the page. Now, if you're in your profile, you can always go to applications that are open up here in the top left corner. So we haven't started yet. I'm going to go back to the main page by clicking the Home button in the top right. You will find the application for the Center City Banner program under the Open Opportunities tab here. If you do not have a number next to Open Opportunities, that may mean that you're registered as an organization or a group that's not eligible for this program. So you can always check with us if you're not seeing it. I'm going to click this button and you will be able to see here the funding opportunity for the Center City Banner call. Click the Apply button to start. If you click the View button, you will get a downloaded version of the guidelines that are the same as what we have on our website. And we can begin the application. So we have these great information boxes that have lots of details that will help you go through this. Again, we do recommend that you read the guidelines and go through those as well as you're going through your application, and before you submit, do one more review to make sure you have everything in there, but the instructions are helpful. We have two tabs for this application: contact information and submission requirements. The contact information page is where you will see all of the information imported from your profile. So the assessors will see your name and your resume, and they will also see your artistic practice statement here. So again, make sure these are up to date in your profile before you submit this application. For the submission requirements, it's pretty short. We want to know how you heard about this call and then get right into the letter of interest. So we have those 3 questions that I went over before. Explain your interest in this opportunity and your connection to Calgary Mohkinstsis. Explain your approach to developing artworks for a commission with rigid visual requirements, and how will this opportunity support your practice. You can type directly into the letter of interest box. You can also copy and paste if you're writing in a Word document. We do have a 1,000-word maximum here. Again, that is a maximum. Do not feel like you need to use all of that up. Be as clear and concise as you can with your letter of interest. And yeah, just make sure you have everything answering those 3 questions and anything else you want to include in there. For the images, this is another upload field. So I am going to, and excuse my desktop folders, they are a mess, but I'm going to browse some images to put in here and select these and upload some files. So once you have selected the images that you want to include, you can click upload. You can do this multiple times. Oh, sorry. You do need a minimum of 4 files, which I did mention before, but you actually cannot complete this application unless you have 5 images in here. So I'm going to throw a screenshot in there. All right, so once you have at least 5 images, they will automatically upload. Sorry, these are taking quite a long time to upload. Apologies for this. And again, a maximum of 10 images. We want you guys to be very selective with what you're including. Again, we have in this information box here a description of what we're looking for in portfolio images. Okay, now we've got some stuff uploaded. So everything will automatically populate and you will be able to see each image that you've uploaded. To add all of the information that we're looking for here, you're going to click on a properties button. So each of these have a properties and a delete button underneath of them. We're going to click on properties for this one. You'll be able to change your title so it's not the file name that you uploaded, the year, dimensions, material medium, a brief description, and location for all of the artworks. So please make sure, oops, I'm just going to close this. Please make sure all of that is filled out for each image that you upload. We do want to know more about all of the artwork you're sharing with us. Once you're happy with the portfolio section and the letter of interest, you're happy with your CV and your artist statement, you can click at the bottom of the page here, the Save and Validate button. Because I have nothing filled out, I am going to get an error message saying that I have a bunch of fields that are empty. So I'm going to put a little bit of stuff in here to fix that. Please, when you're making your corrections, put the stuff you actually want us to see in there. I'm going to click Save and Validate again. I have no errors, so I will be able to click Submit. At this point, when I click the Submit button, it will be sent on to CADA staff. We'll review it before it goes on to the assessors. If there are any glaring omissions or errors that we need you to fix, we will let you know. If there's something wrong, if there's any technical errors, we will let you know about that before it goes to assessment. If you have decided that you do not want to apply anymore, you can click the Withdraw button in the bottom left corner here, and that will remove your application. And if you've started working on this and need to take a break and come back to it later, click the Save Draft button at the bottom of the page. You will be able to reopen this application at any time. And I'm just going to do this one more time to show you guys. If we're going back into our profile, again, it's the top right-hand corner. Click the My Profile link. And up here, again, you'll be able to change whatever you need by clicking the Update Profile button at the bottom. And now that I have started the other application, I can also access my application from the main screen here. So that will be listed as the Center City Banner CCB 2024 application. If I go to the home screen, I will also be able to see my draft at the bottom of the page here. So when you log in, if you're going right back into it, you can open the application and continue where you were. All right, so that is everything for the online application. I'm just gonna stop this and quickly switch back to our PowerPoint presentation. Okay, and once again, here's a screenshot of the CADA website. This here, apply for grants, artist calls, and funding. On the left-hand side, highlighted in red, is what you will click to get to our application or online platform. And at the bottom here, this is the direct link to the login page for our online application platform. It's calgaryartsdevelopment.smartsimple.ca. Okay, a couple of tips in your application. Please review the guidelines. I know I've said that a few times. It's very important. Go through the guidelines and the application checklist. There's a lot of important details in these documents, and they will help you avoid any holes in your application. And contact us early if you require assistance. The more time we have, the better we can help. And if you are interested in becoming an assessor for other public art opportunities, you can scan this QR code or take a quick screenshot. You can always sign up at our website at cada.at/assessor. You will be able to sign up to become an assessor for future public art programs. All right. Before we get into the Q&A, quick little reminder, the applications close on February 19th, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. local time. So please make sure you have everything ready by that date and time. If you have a lot of questions, want to go through this program in a little bit more detail, you can book an open hour session with me. They are getting very full, but there's space on January 30th and 31st between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. You can book a 30-minute session to meet with me and answer any questions you have, and the link to book that is in our guidelines. It's an Eventbrite page. If you already have a booking and you're at this information session and you've decided I've answered all of your questions and you don't need to meet with me anymore, please cancel your booking so someone else can take that spot. These meetings are not going to be a review of your application. We will not go through everything and make sure it's correct. We don't do that for this program, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the program in general, how to apply, and how to use our online platform. So I am gonna pop back on the screen here and stop sharing the PowerPoint. And then if anyone has any questions, please throw them in the chat. I've got a couple in here already. So is the opportunity strictly for digital artists, or could it be for a painter that is later digitized? So yes, we have in the past have artists who do traditional works, painting or drawing, and then those works will be digitized. The artist is still responsible for taking that digital file and getting it ready to go to the printer. So we do require that the artist has technical knowledge and the ability, software, technical practice to prep those files for printing. It's a really important part of the project because we need you to work with the printer to ensure that you are getting what you want out of the final product. Next one there. Is there an expectation to tie into Calgary's new civic brand, Blue Sky City? Absolutely not. We are just asking that you do create artwork that is representational of your connection to Calgary, to Treaty 7. For the Calgary Arts profile, do you want government name under name? No, we don't need your government name. You can put your whichever name you go by. If it is a name that we wouldn't be able to find easily if we needed to contact you, maybe don't use it, but we'll only need your official information if you're selected as an artist and we're creating a contract. Is this opportunity open to Canadian citizens or immigrants with PR status? Yep, anyone with PR status can apply. If you are not a Canadian citizen, there may be a withholding tax on the artist fee. If you're a selected artist, we can go over that with you. So it does technically reduce your artist fee depending on which country you come from. They're usually pretty easy exemptions to get depending on where you're from, but that's something we will deal with if it comes up. Is there a resolution requirement for the images we will be uploading on the submission? There is not a resolution requirement. There is a maximum file size of 2 gigabytes. So don't upload anything that is really, really large, but make sure that is very clearly visible on a regular computer screen size. We won't be blowing these up. We won't be printing anything off of your portfolio. Next question. Since we will be providing a digital image only with the final, will the final paintings need to be framed or provided for display? No, if you are working traditionally and planning to have your work digitized, the original artworks are yours to keep. We do not need them. You will still own those physical works. Our contract will go over the copyright license for this project, but we are just using the digital file for the specific reproduction purposes of the banners and any promotion that we're doing around this program. Okay, so next question. If we are chosen as the second or third artist, so later years, 2027, 2028, will those years be when we begin our design process for the banners? Technically, yes, but we can work with each artist once they're selected to figure out how best they want to work. The printing process, so once we get into final draft approvals and doing printing proofs, all of that will happen in the few months before your installation. So we will need you to be available for that time period. Next question. Is there a medium or style that is favored? No, again, we're looking for bright and bold colors, but we really want to see people who can create artwork that speaks to how they see the city and what they want to show from this city. And we do really appreciate that artists have some experience working digitally and are comfortable working digitally to create the final files for this art project. Okay, next question. What do you feel made previous artists' artwork successful in this program? I can't really speak to that because I was not with Calgary Arts Development at that time, but I do know from talking to Downtown Strategy, a lot of what we look at is how well previous works have looked once they're installed, how well they've held up to fading, and how eye-catching they are on the bridges. So you can look at both the Calgary Arts Development website for this program and Calgary Public Art, the City of Calgary Public Art webpage. They both have examples of work that has been selected over the past decade or work that has been created over the past decade. And it'll give you a good idea of kind of the level of, when we say bright colors, kind of what we're looking for in regards to that. But also, if you're walking around outside and looking at different banners, different advertisements that are outside, just thinking about how contrast and scale can really affect how your artwork, especially if you're an artist who works smaller scale, how those details might look on a much larger scale. Okay, next question. Can the final image be vectorized for easier scaling up? Yes, it can, but we will have to work with our printer for that, for what the minimum size can be before that scaling up. So there's some leeway there, but we still want to make sure that the file we're starting with before we scale it up is large enough and of high enough quality. Next question. By artist fee, do you mean what the artist pays or what the artist is paid? So that is what the artist is paid. Each artist is paid $8,000. Again, and that fee is for their work in designing the 6 original artworks. Any work that we're asking them to do for promotion, so that's if we want to do an interview or get maybe your picture in front of the images and put that in our newsletter or on our website. And also for any work to develop the project in terms of the layout. So the template that we'll provide you must be completed so that our installers know exactly how you want your artwork installed. And then also, again, that reviewing of proofs, working with the printer to make sure the final printed artwork is exactly what the artist wants. Is it free to apply? Yes, through all of Calgary Arts Development's programs, it is always free to apply. Next question. What might happen if we are accepted as the second or third artist? Oop, more coming in. And then move to a different city or province within that time? Would the in-person meeting happen now or in those years? So the in-person meetings will need to happen in the months coming up to the installation. We usually receive printing proofs 2 to 3 months before the installation. So with the next one coming up, we're looking at February is when we're going to have a lot of those in-person meetings. And again, we do really require the artist to be available for those meetings. Sometimes it does take more than one printing proof process to get the artwork right and make sure it's going to be exactly what everyone wants once we print it. So can we submit mock-up designs in our portfolio? Please do not submit any mock-up designs in your portfolio. We are not asking for any creation of artwork at this point. Only include existing artworks that you have already finished and created. And the last question so far, if you are selected, how flexible is the time working with the printer and committee? As in, if you have a full-time job, how much time will you need to try to schedule off of work? It is a very flexible schedule. So once you're contracted, we will work on the specific project scope and timeline. You will have almost a year from when you start your contract to the installation point to work on this process. And we tried really hard to schedule everything so that people do not need to take time off work throughout this process. Again, when you're creating the artwork that is done in your own time, schedule it as you see fit and what makes sense for you. But the project lead will work closely with each artist to make sure that all of the meetings that are needed, all of the draft review stages and everything work with your schedule and your timeline. And the last question, only artists living in Calgary are eligible for this project. So no, we do open this up to Calgary and the surrounding Treaty 7 area. We do ask that artists are available to come and meet in person. We cannot cover travel expenses with this program, so that is why it is not open to a um, wider range of artists. People do need to come into the city, and with a smaller project, comes with a smaller budget, and we can't accommodate travel for all artists with this program. And the last question, do artists retain the ownership of the art if selected? Yes, again, this will be covered in the artist contract, but artists do retain ownership of the artwork. We have a license for specific use of the artwork for the installation on the 5 bridges and then for any promotions we're doing of the project, but the artist would maintain the copyright for the artwork. Okay, that was great. That was a lot of questions. Thank you guys. Is there anything else you guys want to put in the chat so far? No? Okay. Again, I am always available to answer questions over email. If you want to sign up for one of those open hour sessions, please do. And yeah, we're really excited to have everyone apply. We have had a really great turnout for this info session. We've had a really great response to this program already. So it will be very competitive this year, but it is great to see so many artists available and interested for these programs. This recording will go to our communications team to have a transcript and subtitles made, and then it will be available online. Sometimes that can take up to 2 weeks to get everything ready to be posted online, but it will be visible on our guidelines page. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. God, we got out of here in under an hour even. And I'd really like to thank Rosalie for doing a great job interpreting for us today. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And please reach out early if you have any questions.